Right, so this is going to be my first one, but here we go. I'm going to be reviewing books. Books that I have read in the past that I really liked, books that I've read recently I really liked, stuff like that. I'm going to try to focus a bit more on stuff that I don't hear talked about as much, or stuff I don't see as much, stuff that haven't gotten adaptations into movies and stuff like that. Anyways, yeah, it's my first time, so gonna do my best, looking for feedback on how I can be better, and yeah, hopefully it'll get a lot better as it goes along. So the first one is a book I read a long time ago called The Blonde. Don't mind the tags there. This is actually a really... Oh, you're also going to have to excuse me, I have a bit of a cold. Anyways, this was actually a really interesting story. It actually, I feel, is worthy of a live adaptation. Like, I feel like it would be a great movie adaptation. It would be like another blockbuster of the year or whatever. Or just one of those really decent Hollywood movies that would come out. It deserves one. Sorry about that. And, you know, fuck, let me stay the camera a little bit there. And, you know, I think that it might. I haven't actually checked, funny enough, but I kind of doubt it. Anyways, yeah, The Blonde by Duane Swierczynski. Fuck, that's his... Sorry about the swearing. That's his last name, Swierczynski. However you pronounce that, I'm just gonna butcher it, let's be honest. Anyways, yeah, so the first book I'm going to be talking about this one, and essentially, The Blonde, from what I can remember, it's been a while since I read the book, but I want to do this for a while. Anyways, The Blonde is essentially about this woman who gets infected with this virus from the government where, in a sense, she always has to be around someone else, like another human life form. At least I think it has to be human, otherwise she would have just gotten a dog, but anyways. Yeah, so she always has to be within a certain radius of another person, and if she isn't, after a certain while, if she's all alone, after a couple of minutes, she'll die. I think it's... I can't remember if they start to cough up blood, or if they're... I don't think their head explodes. Oh, wait, no, yeah, I think they do explode. Yeah, it's some weird thing where they explode or something like that, because now I'm remembering the epilogue. Anyways, yeah, so essentially she goes around with a lot of guys so as to fill this need, you know. She kind of whores herself out a little bit so that, well, she can live, because of this virus that this person infected her with, she always has to be around someone, but then she decides to find a permanent fix, you know. It's a bit of an underhanded thing, but essentially she infects the other main character of this story, the deuteragonist, assuming she herself isn't the deuteragonist, that's debatable, but anyways, she infects him with the same virus that she was infected with. I can't remember how she gets it. Again, it's been a while since I've read this, but I want to do this kind of thing for a while. I'll review books. But yeah, anyways, by infecting him, she essentially ruins his life. At one night, you know, she kind of flirts with him and slips it into his drink, and, you know, he doesn't know until later. Again, can't remember how he finds out. Sorry, this is a pretty bad review. But anyways, so, yeah, she infects him, and naturally he goes after her. At first, you know, they meet up easily enough, but then they split up by accident, and then she tries to find her again. The whole night is him just basically finding her and then losing her kind of thing. Or it happens like twice, and she has her own story arc separate from him, and his story arc revolves around him both trying to find the blonde who infected him, and at the same time trying to find someone who will believe him and his ludicrous story. And naturally, you know, people for the most part think he's insane. He tries to attract one woman in particular to stay with him throughout the night so he doesn't die, but, you know, things happen. This leads to her thinking he's a nut, and, you know, other stuff happens from there. He gets maced. Anyways, so his story is him trying to stay alive and find the blonde. The blonde has a separate story. I'm not going to ruin too much of it, but, you know, hers involves her being in the hospital for a little bit. Then there's this agent who I believe is sent by the agency who infected the blonde in the first place, called Kowalski, and he's basically going after both the main character and the blonde. I think trying to kill them, or something like that. Yeah, something along those lines. But anyways, the whole story plays as a basically life or death sort of story where the main character has to try and find the blonde who infected him and get the cure. And on top of that, he's also poisoned at one point, so it's two different things he has to try to overcome. And, you know, like the whole night is him just searching for her, searching for other people, and basically he starts following people at certain points because, you know, he has to be within a certain radius of other people or he'll die instantly. This leads to him looking like a stalker at several points, so hilarity ensues there. The Kowalski guy is also a pretty interesting assassin guy. He's pretty cool. He does some pretty impressive thing at one point without giving out too much details. And the whole epilogue, as you can see here, it says Redhead is the name of the epilogue, and it's basically, it's said to be the original short story, so at first I thought it was going to be something completely different, but no, it's basically just an epilogue to this. And, you know, it's actually pretty good epilogue. It's a pretty good wrap-up, and just the way they turn the virus around in the end and kind of use it as a weapon. I'm not going to say much more than that, but like the whole epilogue is its own little cool story, and it's mainly about Kowalski and just like the way he uses the virus in the end and how he like changes things around with it, to say the least. Yeah, so all in all, it's a pretty good series too. The characters are all fairly likable, you know. The main character only comes off as selfish because well, she only would if you didn't know her story, but she tells her story pretty early on. She makes it very clear that she doesn't enjoy using people, but she has to because she has to always be around people, so she has to always be within 10 feet of people, and naturally the easiest way for her to do that was to kind of, you know, again, make herself sleep around a lot. That was one of the few ways. But she's also a pretty impressive character. I think she's not like a spy. I can't remember exactly what she is. But as you can see by the gun in her hand, she is like a fighter to an extent. She does have some skills. The main villain's fun enough, you know. He's a typical douchebag villain, but, you know, he's a relatively funny villain, so yeah, I don't know. He's pretty likable, I guess. I'd say he's memorable enough. Overall, yeah, it was a great read. I'm interested in reading more by this author, actually, because of this, and, you know, he wrote a Batman comic I wouldn't mind reading eventually, but, yeah. The Blonde, funny enough, the plot is a bit like the plot of the third Transporter movie, I believe, because I think it's a similar idea in that one where they have to stick together, and if they drift too far apart from one another, they'll both die. I haven't seen it. I've only seen the first two, but still, I assume it's the same plot, kind of, with less martial arts. This one's more suspense thriller kind of thing. I think it even says right here, a thriller. Oh, it also says he's the author of The Wheelman. I haven't read that. Might be good. Anyways, yeah. This is about 8 minutes, so I think I'll stop it there. But yeah, this is my first book review, and hope you check this out. Give me some feedback on what I could do better. You can probably tell this is pretty crap quality, because, you know, this is going to be my first time doing this. I might get better quality as my reviews go along, but yeah, that's about all I can. Oh, there's one more thing, actually. One sec. One thing I liked is each chapter or each other chapter would begin with like a quote or something like that, or just like a fancy statement. One of my favorite ones, I mean, like, let me show you what I mean, just like, give me a sec. You know, just like that, before every single new chapter there's a quote, so that's cool. This is just interesting. I'm not sure if this is an actual fact or if the writer pulled it out of his ass, but let me just try and find it. It says here, according to this quote, the last natural blondes will die out within 200 years. Scientists believe a study by experts in Germany suggests people with blonde hair are an endangered species and will become extinct by 2202. BBCnews.com. So that was kind of neat. That was like my favorite pre-chapter. Well, that was not really a quote as it is a news report, but that's interesting. I wonder if that's true. be interesting to see if they become an well, you know, it'd be neat to see if they become an extinct race. Not great, but you know. This is another one. That one's kind of meh. I'm trying to look for another good quote amongst the pre-chapter quotes. I don't know, it's just an interesting thing for a writer to do. I'm sure it's a cliche, but you know. No, not that one. Sorry, give me a sec. It's gotta be at least well. Honestly, I can't find any other quote that really sticks out to me, to be honest. So I'm just gonna stop it there. Oh, this one's not bad. I was in love with a beautiful blonde once. She drove me to drink. That's the one thing I'm indebted to her for. W.C. Fields. Classic. Okay, yeah, anyway. Yeah, so the blonde. I'm assuming they all come with the redhead epilogue, but you know, if not, try to find the one with the little tag that says contains the original short story Redhead. But yeah, it was a very fun read. I'd honestly love to see a blockbuster of this. Like the moment I finished reading it, it felt to me like just one of those books that deserves to be adapted. I know adaptations aren't always great, but you know, it just feels like it deserves one. And I feel like, you know, a lot of people would really love this. Okay, anyways, yep, that's my first book review. Rate, comment, subscribe, and let me know what you think. I can do better. You know, feel free to be cruel with your criticisms. I get it, I'm a newbie. Yeah, okay, bye.